We play and call it work.
Hey folks, Janene from MiniWarGaming here with another how-to video for you. In today's video, we're going to continue painting on this Imperial Warhound Titan. We're going to do the lights on the guns and also on the head right up front in the nose area. As always, if you have suggestions for what you'd like to see in future how-to videos, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments. The first step is going to be to do an all-over layer on the entirety of this light. All of this Warhound Titan's weapons have a light in this center area, and we're going to be doing the same steps on each of them. Our first color is going to be Warpstone Glow. I do mix my paint with a drop or two of Lamian Medium before I apply it. And I'm just going to get the entirety of this light, making sure I get all the way around, doing my best not to slop over onto the silver that encases the light, though that can always be touched up later. Then we just want to make sure that we get all the rest of the weapons. And then on this nose section, we've got two lights on the side and one very small light in the very middle. Next, we're going to use Moot Green to highlight. I'm going to dip the end of my brush into a little bit of Lamian Medium and just add a drop or two to my paint. I want to do this not only for flow, but because I want this color to be really translucent so that I can do some smooth layering as I highlight. So in this particular paint, I'm going a little bit heavier handed with the Lamian Medium than I did in the previous layer, for example. I'm going to concentrate on layering this Moot Green more towards the middle. I want to make sure that I leave a small section of the darker green on the outside edge. And I'm going to be doing several layers of this color. I want to give each layer a chance to dry. Here you can see it after layer 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and keep layering it on to build up that brighter green. With each progressive layer, I'm going to paint slightly less of the light, really building up the brightness more towards the very middle. That's going to create a glowing effect. And doing this in small controlled layers is going to create a nice blend. We're going to do the same thing with these larger lights on the guns. Since we have a larger surface, we can really concentrate on pulling that brightness to the very middle. But since it is a larger area, it's going to require us to do a few more layers than we did on the smaller lights. We got to be careful and make sure that we're not layering this while the paint is still too wet. If we do that, then we can actually end up taking paint off of the model instead of layering paint on. But with a little bit of practice, you get an idea what the proper drying time is. Our next coat's going to be Yriel Yellow. We're also going to mix this with quite a bit of Lamian Medium, just like we did with the Moot Green. Between the Lamian Medium and the fact that yellow paints tend to have less pigment in them, it's going to create a very translucent layer that's just going to tint the green so it's a little bit brighter. We're not painting these like jewels, which would have all of the highlights collected toward the bottom of the light. This is really going to look more like a light bulb with that glow really emanating from the very center. I'm applying this yellow in, again, very controlled layers, making sure that I'm slowly building up the paint, not worried about getting too much coverage in one layer. I can always go back over it again, and I'm just going to keep playing with it until I get the brightness that I like. With these smaller lights on the head, I really just want to do a very small section in the very middle. It's going to feel a little bit more like dabbing than really painting like we did with the larger lights. Now that we've built up the Yriel Yellow, we're going to continue to push the highlight, and we're going to use Gitz Yellow to build it up even brighter. I'm going to be applying this highlight in the middle and at the top. I'm concentrating this slightly more towards the top simply because when the weapons are on the Titan, this is going to be where your eye sees it, since they're slightly pointed down once they're attached. You can see that I'm not applying a ton of this highlight. It doesn't need a lot to really make it bright. And since I also added Lamian Medium to this color, it's going to make a very smooth transition as I apply it between the Yriel Yellow and the Gitz Yellow. On the smaller lights on the nose, I'm really just doing a dab in each of them. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to take these yellows and tint them back down to green. So we're going to use Bieltan Green, we're going to apply that all over the light. And then once I have a nice layer, I'm going to wipe off my brush and I'm going to remove the paint that's in the very middle of the light. This way we tint everything a little bit green without losing any of our highlight. So here you can see it again. I just removed the very middle section so I can retain the highlight while tinting everything else. Here you can see all of the guns together. This is just one quick, easy way to paint lights that have a nice glowing effect to them. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more how-to videos, I have another video where I go through how to add a little bit of battle damage to this Titan in the MiniWarGaming Vault in the link down below in the description. If you don't have a Vault membership, go ahead and click the link. You can get a 7-day free trial and see my video as well as hundreds of other videos in the MiniWarGaming Vault. So go ahead, click the link, start your free trial, and happy wargaming.